Diego Comic-Con 2019, and joining me right now is my good friend William Shewfelt. He plays Red Ranger over at Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. Hey stranger, how are you doing today?
Hey, well thank you for the opportunity to be on your show. I've seen one of the previous episodes, so good stuff.
Thank you so much. I know we kind of go way back. We actually did a film project together over at San Diego State. It was some sort of like a school shooting video, instructional video about that, and so we have some stories. We'll talk about that later. But anyways, how has San Diego Comic-Con been treating you lately?
It's been really good. So I mean, this is always a fun event to come out to. I have like a little bit of a background here where when I was studying economics at UCSD, I actually used to come here and help out.
Oh, wow.
So this was before I had even gotten into acting, and I felt really, really drawn to it. So there was a Harry Potter thing going on, and Eddie Redmayne was supposed to do this thing where he says, I forget what it was, and then we all went out as like wizards and handed out these things. So that was the first time I ever went to Comic-Con. It was like 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
Long before Power Rangers or anything like that.
So yeah, we were just talking before, and we had some weird parallelism in our life path, and it's like we've been on the same road but different freeways. And yeah, I too was a volunteer here at Comic-Con, and it seems like the Comic-Con gods have finally answered our prayers, and now we're like, look at where we're at now. He's promoting a show, and I'm promoting mine, so that's really weird. Every time we keep talking, that's so funny.
I love that.
How many times have you been at San Diego Comic-Con?
This would be my third time.
Okay.
Yeah, so first time was helping out. Second time was when we got brought out here by Saban, I think it was at the time. And then, this is my third time.
And that was with the Nickelodeon at the time. Okay. Now, let's see, how do you compare this Comic-Con to all the other Comic-Cons that you've been to?
They're always busy. I mean, I'm sure it's always growing, but I mean, they're always super busy.
Sure.
I mean, they're jam-packed. I think they're always making it bigger and better. I saw Tom Cruise was here.
Yes.
I didn't see him, but I know that he was here.
We actually did. We camped out.
You saw him?
Yeah, we camped out at Hall H. We saw the Terminator panel.
Yeah.
Saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and then Conan comes out saying, I got breaking news! Tom Cruise crashed the Terminator panel, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is only day one. I can't even
was
imagine.
Arnold there while Tom Cruise was there?
No, Arnold exited, and then Conan came, and it was just like, really? And I'm so glad I camped out for that, but that was an easy one.
I can't even tell you how big of an Arnold fan I am. Like, literally, to see and meet that guy once in my life, I will be very, very happy.
For the Governator, I mean, I actually went to grad school just so I could have the Governator sign my diploma. I mean, I have that.
Where'd you go to grad school?
I went to San Jose State.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I majored in education, and I just did it just for him. And then
he signed it?
He signed it,
Oh, that's awesome.
It's there. And actually, the first time I saw Arnold was back in 2012 with the Expendable 2 panel. And so here's like, what, 7 years later, he comes back for the Terminator, and I'm just like, I don't know if he's ever going to come back to San Diego Comic-Con promoting any other movies. I said, it's worth it, let's do it, and it was worth it. So, and Linda Hamilton, that's another story.
Yeah, she's a legend as well.
Yeah. Oh boy, so can you give us a little background about how did you come across this wonderful opportunity that kind of just took your career off to like a whole nother level now?
Yeah, so Power Rangers was basically the culmination of a dream and a goal that I had.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I was searching a lot. I was constantly trying to self-improve, just develop myself as a person. I was trying to figure out what was my purpose.
Yeah.
I've known since I was young that I was a motivated individual and I was going to do something great, but I didn't know what it was. So I studied economics all through college, and my goal was really to take what I learned about economic policy and use it to better countries that needed that.
Wow.
That was my dream. That was my vision. But as I got really involved in that, I realized I wasn't satisfied. I didn't enjoy studying it. I really couldn't see myself working in a lot of the opportunities that were available to me. So I started to read a lot because I was trying to figure out, like, okay, so what do I do with my life? And I started to read a lot of personal development books. And I started to internalize the idea that you can accomplish any goal that you badly desire and set your mind upon.
Yeah.
As soon as I came to that realization, I'd always kind of wanted to act, but I realized, okay, this is the thing that I really want to do right now.
For sure, yeah.
And I set a goal for myself that within 1 year I wanted to star on a major TV show. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. Had never acted a day in my life, had no connections, had no money. So it was really weird. And I was living here in San Diego, in La Jolla for UCSD. And I set that goal. And I basically went through this process of breaking that goal all the way down. So what are all of the necessary components to be an actor? I'll have to build my resume, I'll have to get acting classes, I'll have to get an agent, do headshots, blah, blah, blah. So I broke down all of these mini steps, and then I got even more granular, and I started to break it down into monthly goals.
Okay.
And then I broke it down into weekly goals, daily goals, and then I set this really rigid daily routine for myself of getting up at 4 in the morning, going to the gym, working out, listening to positivity, inspiration, reading personal development books, and then from about 7 a.m. until the time I went to bed at like 10 p.m., I would basically work all day. So I would be reaching out to casting directors. I would be applying to every single casting I could. I was auditioning for plays at UCSD. I was getting headshots done. I was just constantly hustling at this. And it was really like do or die for me, because by the time that year was up, I was going to graduate and I would have to get thrust out into the real world and get a real job, So I basically saw myself as having 1 year to do this. Luckily, by the end of that year, I'd started an independent feature film. I'd done music videos. I'd done non-union commercials. I had signed with Shaman Freitas, and then I signed with the LA agency. I'd done headshots and just a bunch of things. It snowballed. It snowballed very quickly, too. By the end of that year, I got the call about Power Rangers after like a 3 or 4 month audition process. And it was literally like the culmination of my dream that I saw happen before my eyes. So to this day, this whole show that I did, to me, the one thing I learned from it, as fun as all of this is, the one thing I learned is that you make a decision and you set a goal and you can achieve it. So that lesson has really carried over for me. Now with the work that I'm doing in like the health industry, books, and like I'm working in the keto industry, and I just spoke at KetoCon a month ago. So while I'm doing things like that, I realized, okay, don't ever limit yourself. Anything you set your mind to, you can accomplish. So that's kind of how this all came about. It was just a goal that I set.
That's amazing. I know, we were also talking, William is also the brother of the Lord, so he believes in Jesus.
I am indeed.
And it's amazing how God has put that desire into your heart, and you followed through it. And it was a struggle, I'm sure, but you've been patient and you prayed about it, and so it's just amazing. And so amen to that. So so that's amazing to hear.
I just want to say one thing about that really quickly. I don't think people realize how motivational the Bible is. So when I was at UCSD during that last year, I was reading the Bible constantly. And the thing was, I wanted to understand, how did Jesus start his mission at the age of 30? And by the time he was crucified at 33, change the entire world to the point that we're still talking about him 2,000 years later.
Weird,
How did he do that? And there are so many quotes in the Bible that inspired me, but one of them is that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So it's all out there. It's abundant. All of these opportunities are abundant for us, but the laborers are few. There's very few people actually willing to work to reap the benefits of that harvest. So that's something I've always reminded myself. Like the harvest is plentiful. It's all out there for you. And the other thing is that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move, and it will be moved. Booking a major TV show 1 year with no experience was a mountain for me. And I had faith the size of a mustard seed. It was literally that small, though. Like, when I started this goal, I didn't really believe that it was possible.
For sure.
But your belief grows over time, and you water that and you nurture that through hard work, through positivity, through eliminating all negative people from your life, controlling your thoughts, putting the work in. So there's a lot of inspiration in the Bible, and it really lays out the blueprint of how to achieve things in life, which people don't realize. But if you want to figure out how to accomplish all of your goals, before you watch The Secret and read Think and Grow Rich and stuff, read the Bible. It has a lot of the secrets in there.
I know, it's really crazy when New Agers talk about, like, no, if you just put it out there, but what if it actually came to you? There's always that debate. I'm surprised you haven't talked to Jason David Frank about this, because you guys are so similar. But yeah, I haven't
talked to him about it.
It's like I'm like looking at the same interview. It's like you guys are just very same. I hope you guys talk, because I'm sure that would be a really interesting podcast for you guys to share about, especially your life experience. Let's talk about turtles for a second. I know you're a big, huge fan of the turtles. Who's your favorite?
I would go with Michelangelo.
Yeah, he's a bit of a party dude, isn't he? Donatello!
I was actually falling into frame.
Oh no, that's perfect. Now I can say I am sandwiched between two Red Rangers, and I'm enjoying it. I don't know if you know this, but we also interviewed Austin St. John this morning, and now I got two more Red Rangers. And listen, Elmo likes Rangers, okay? So
Elmo's a Red Ranger.
Elmo's a Red Ranger, so that's perfect. And he's, it's his 50th birthday, so let's just go ahead and celebrate with him. So,
Mr. Noodle.
How you doing, sir?
I'm well, how are you? I'm Brennan Mejia, by the way.
Brennan Mejia.
Was a Red Ranger at some point in my life, too.
And it was, let me guess, super... Dino Charge? Right?
Dino Supercharged.
Dino Supercharge. Okay. Okay. All right. So how was your experience like on that show?
It was really cool. New Zealand was definitely on my bucket list, so moving there was like not a lot of time to explore because we were sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And I didn't drink coffee
Yeah.
at that time, so I was like literally sleep
You
deprived.
drink coffee now?
I do now.
My man. Okay,
know.
fine. Americanas or what?
I do like a cinnamon honey with really light honey and almond milk.
You put
usually.
sugar in there?
Honey, a little
shocked.
bit of honey, like this. Literally, when I see the guy
Honey's
with the
got
thing,
sugar.
I'm like just a little bit of honey.
Or
Yeah.
some sugar. No.
I love that.
Okay, and I heard you're also a big fan of Ninja Turtles, right?
Donatello. We had that's when I entered this conversation.
Can you guys share me like your childhood experience, your fondest memory of the Turtles, and how you came across it?
Well, the Super Nintendo game, like that was my jam because my friend Reggie would come over and I'd pick Donatello and he was Raphael, and we'd like play through the Super Nintendo game, and it was really, really hard, and we'd lose a lot, and that was my bonding point.
That was your introduction. Okay, what were you?
I just remember watching the movie. I forget which movie it was. I'm sure they've had many, but it was this one where they were trained by like an old rat who's like a kung fu master.
Oh, I think they call him Splinter.
Yeah, and I remember somebody bowing in the movie, and then he got kicked in the face, and he
That
says,
would be-
"Never look down."
Oh.
And I just internalized that. I was like, anytime I bow in like a karate thing, never look down.
That was
Look at your opponent.
Crossover. Yeah.
Oh, speaking
With,
of the
Power
crossover,
Rangers?
yeah. You guys saw the crossover with the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, right? When you guys were kids?
In space.
Yeah.
What you guys thought about that?
It was incredible. I loved
Yeah,
it.
it's cool. I mean, they're obviously both similar. Like they're color coded, crime fighting, usually teenage age-ish
Yeah.
fighters. So I thought it was a good combo.
I will say, and I've said this many times in many interviews, that I think Andros from In Space, Chris Kamen Lee, I believe, I get that right?
You're right.
I think he's incredible. Literally was probably my favorite Red Ranger.
So Austin.
It's not my season, and his mind changed.
Oh, then all of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
That's true as well. That's
bow
true
down
as well.
to you. Well, let's see. If Power Rangers.
Brennan's dangerous, so I've got to go along with
I've
it.
noticed. He's just like came out of nowhere. I'm like, what?
Rawr. Rawr.
Rawr.
As soon as I said turtles, you see how the excitement there? So now, if Power Rangers actually got a chance to do a crossover, who do you think they would do well beating up with? I've heard of
Like a live action one,
Yeah.
you mean?
Oh man, so I have my ideas about this.
CW. Like go with like.
You guys,
The
because you
Flash
like
and
CW,
Arrow.
right?
Well, yeah, I'm obviously biased towards.
So
what I like.
you'll be on one of the CW shows when they do the team up.
Yeah.
Then you'll be double booked.
Yeah.
That'd be a
like,
good gig.
Hired twice. Like
Paid
Brandon
twice?
Ruth is gonna reprise Superman in a Crisis.
Oh, I just saw that.
crossover,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually met him last night, Brandon Ruth, at the WB party. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to show off again, but yeah, I know.
No,
but
so-
yeah, follow me on Instagram about that.
with the crossover. So Scooby-Doo does great crossovers, and I'm not going to say Scooby-Doo, but I saw the one they did with WWE, and I
Yeah.
thought it was amazing. And Brennan knows this. I'm a huge WWE fan.
Okay.
So if we could do a live-action crossover with WWE superstars, Undertaker, Triple H,
Yeah.
whoever else.
Would they be the bad guy, or would they be like helping us?
I mean, there would be bad guys and good guys. So maybe Stone Cold would be a bad guy, and then I mean he's a little on the older side, so I don't want to bring him
He's gonna
back.
come find you.
He might.
Break you.
That would actually be cool.
Oh my
That'd be
gosh.
cool.
Okay, it looks like I can go on forever talking to these guys because I've actually been here a lot earlier today, but and I just heard that we're actually low on batteries, so I better
Okay.
end this before we lose this memory card. So, William, Brennan. Oh, hey, I just want to say, hey, Brennan, thank you so much for joining our show. And
Thank you.
no, this is perfect because we're actually running out of memory card space. So, anyways, and thank you guys so much for coming and joining our show. And guys, be sure to join them at any Comic-Con near you. And I'm Michelle Noel with William and Brennan, and hopefully we'll see you guys next time. Can we just close this out by saying cowabunga on 3? It's morphin'. Oh my God, can you guys teach me how to morph? I totally forgot. Yeah, can you do
We've
that?
both got different
It's
sequences.
true. I think
Okay.
we could both say it's morphin' time.
Okay.
Our morphs are so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
So
1, 2, 3 is
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2,
Okay.
3.
You
Okay.
count us out.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
It's morphin' time.
Thank you.
And
Bye. Cowabunga.
Cowabunga as
bye.
well.